Jadi, sementara kita menunggu peserta yang lain untuk masuk, diminta untuk peserta program dari Universiti Tun Hussein Al Malaysia sendiri untuk scan QR code yang sedang dipaparkan ini untuk kehadiran SMAP anda. Manakala bagi peserta luar, borang kehadiran akan diberikan di penghujung program nanti ya.
Mikrofon ni.
Sekadar makluman untuk para peserta, lagi 6 minit kita akan mulakan program kita. Jadi para peserta bolehlah yang mana yang nak ke tandas dulu ataupun nak minum air dan sebagainya, kita ada masa lagi 6 minit ya. Pada peserta yang baru masuk, sekiranya anda dari UTHM, anda diminta untuk scan QR code yang tertera di skrin untuk kehadiran SMAP anda. Terima kasih. Untuk makluman kepada peserta yang baru masuk, anda diminta untuk scan QR code yang terpapar di skrin sekarang dengan anda buka aplikasi My UTHM. Lepas tu masukkan anda punya nombor matrix dan juga password SMAP. Okey, sekiranya ada sebarang permasalahan, anda boleh rujuk dengan AJK kami. Baik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum dan selamat datang saya ucapkan kepada hadirin sekalian di atas kesediaan untuk menghadirkan diri dalam program Petronas Career Talk Civil Engineer in Oil and Gas Industry, di mana pada segmen ini kita akan mengenali dan memahami dengan lebih mendalam berkenaan bidang oil and gas. Saya, Nurnisa Fatini binti Ruzaimi, selaku moderator anda pada hari ini. Suka untuk saya ingatkan kepada para hadirin, anda sangat-sangat dialukan untuk membuka kamera bagi memeriahkan lagi program kita pada petang ini. Sayang kumbang mencari makan, terbang seiring di tepi kali. Selamat datang saya ucapkan, moga diiring restu ilahi. Bersyukur kita kehadrat ilahi kerana dengan limpah dan kurnianya dapat kita bersama-sama berkumpul dalam menjayakan program Petronas Career Talk Civil Engineer in Oil and Gas Industry pada hari ini. Lebat kemiri pohonnya rendah, dahan terikat tali perkasa. 10 jari kami menadah, mohon berkat yang Maha Esa. Hadirin dan hadirat yang dikasihi sekalian, bagi memberkati program kita pada petang ini, dengan sukacitanya saya menjemput saudara Muhammad Nazrullah bin Husni bagi memimpin bacaan doa. Dipersilakan.
Nabil Karim wa alihi wa ashabihi kiramil Fatihah. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Allahumma antal azizul jalil. Ya Allah, Engkaulah yang mempunyai segala kepujian. Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kepujian. Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kesyukuran. Engkaulah yang memiliki segala pemerintahan. Di tangan engkau segala kebajikan. Kepada engkaulah kembali segala urusan. Allahumma ya karimu ya rahim. Cucurilah rahmat dan rahimu ke atas majlis Petronas Kereta yang diadakan pada hari ini. Berkatilah ia dari awal hingga akhirnya. Ya fa'alu lima yurid. Kami juga memohon perlindungan daripadamu dari segala perkara yang boleh mencacat celakan majlis kami dan daripada segala perkara yang boleh melalaikan kami dari berbuat taat kepadamu. Kepadamu jua kami serah segala urusan kami. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarraqana min ba'dihi tafarraqan ma'suma wa la taj'alillahumma fina wa la ma'ana wa la man yasba'una syaqiyyan wa la matrudan wa la mahruma. Allahumma ij'alna khaira a'malina akhiruh wa khaira a'malina khawatimuh wa khaira ayyamina yawmal alqaka fihi. Allahumma ghafir lana dhunubana wal ikhwanina allazina sabaquna bil iman wa la taj'al fi qulubina illa lil ladzina amanu rabbana innaka ra'ufur rahim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Terima kasih saya ucapkan kepada saudara Muhammad Nazrullah bin Husni atas bacaan doa sebentar tadi. Yang berusaha Nurul Eliana Syahira binti Helmi, pengarah program bagi Petronas Career Talk Civil Engineer in Oil and Gas Industry. Dr. Wan Nurul Karimah binti Wan Ahmad, Focal Person Petronas Chess UTHM. Dan yang diraikan Encik Juzaili bin Muhammad Kabri, wakil dari Petronas, serta penceramah kita pada hari ini, TS Muhammad Syazwan Kamil bin Abdullah. Emas tempawan buatmu puteri, busana indah buat rupawan. Sudahlah tuan, tampilkan diri, bersama madah kata aluan. Tanpa melengahkan masa lagi, dijemput Saudari Nurul Eliana Syahira binti Helmi, pengarah program bagi Petronas Career Talk Civil Engineer in Oil and Gas Industry, untuk memberikan ucapan sekaligus merasmikan program kita pada hari ini. Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Suara saya dengar kan?
Dengar Saudari Ali.
Okey, terima kasih saya ucapkan kepada Tuan Pengerusi Majlis. Jadi saya Nurul Eliana Syahira selaku pengarah program pada hari ini. Saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua yang sudi hadir dan sudi join program kami iaitu Petronas Career Talk. Dan saya difahamkan kita juga ada peserta daripada universiti-universiti luar seperti UPSI, Politeknik dan sebagainya. Terima kasih sangat-sangat. Okey, dan saya harap program pada hari ini dapat memberi manfaat kepada semua, terutama kepada kami dan terutama kepada student-student yang memang nak mencuburi diri dalam bidang oil and gas. Okay, so tanpa membuang masa, saya ingin merasmikan majlis atau program Petronas Career Talk Civil Engineer in Oil and Gas Industry pada hari ini. So sekian, terima kasih kepada saya.
Terima kasih Saudari Nurul Eliana di atas ucapan sebentar itu tadi. Buat pengetahuan hadirin, Career Talk pada hari ini akan membincangkan tentang peluang dan peranan sebagai seorang juruteraan awam, khususnya dalam bidang oil and gas. Kita juga akan menelusuri perjalanan hidup TS Muhammad Syazwan sebagai seorang staf engineer di Petronas. Serta beliau akan memperdengarkan mengenai pengalaman dan cabaran beliau dalam industri oil and gas. Semoga dengan perkongsian yang sedemikian, para peserta kita mampu untuk menyerap inspirasi dan menetapkan satu iltizam yang tinggi dalam mencapai kerjaya yang diingini. Namun, sebelum kita mulakan, Orang kata tak kenal maka tak cinta. Maka pada hari ini kami telah menjemput seseorang yang sangat berpengetahuan dan berpengalaman dalam bidang oil and gas buat anda semua. Perkenalkan penceramah kita iaitu TS Muhammad Syazwan Kamil bin Abdullah selaku staf engineer di Petronas yang mana beliau mempunyai pengalaman selama 17 tahun ya. Dan beliau mempunyai pengalaman dalam bidang kepakaran yang melibatkan geohazard risk management and assessment, offshore geohazard site investigation, soil investigation and offshore geophysical survey, infrastructure work. Jadi bila kita nampak nama-nama ni, kita boleh lihat dan kita tahu bahawa kita punya penceramah pada hari ini bukan calang-calang orang. Jadi untuk para hadirin, jangan sia-siakan peluang hari ini untuk fokus dan dengarkan apa yang hendak disampaikan oleh penceramah kita. So, saya nak tanya, adakah anda semua sudah bersedia? Sekiranya anda semua sudah bersedia, saya mohon para hadirin untuk respon di ruangan komen ataupun boleh berikan simbol thumbs up sebab saya nak pastikan betul ataupun tidak kita punya peserta pada hari ini ada di hadapan kamera sekarang dan bersedia untuk dengar talk dari TS Syazwan. Jadi, boleh saya tengok ruangan komen? Ada tak peserta yang sudah bersedia? Saya nak anda semua respon. Okey, nampaknya ramai yang respon. Maksudnya saya tak bercakap seorang-seorang depan kamera. Walaupun kita secara online, nampaknya anda semua pun menunjukkan semangat yang tinggi untuk program pada hari ini. So saya percayalah kebanyakan daripada anda semua ada di hadapan kamera sekarang. Maka tanpa melengahkan masa, saya ingin menjemput TS Muhammad Syazwan Kamil bin Abdullah untuk memulakan perkongsian beliau. Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan.
Assalamualaikum, selamat petang semua.
Waalaikumsalam, Cik.
Saya akan share my slide.
Encik.
You can see my slide ke?
Boleh, Encik.
So again, Assalamualaikum dan selamat petang. So Alhamdulillah, thank you kepada Cik Nisa selaku kita punya moderator petang ni. First of all, on behalf of Petronas and myself, I would like to thank to organizer, which is led by Cik Nurul Eliana tadi, to invite myself untuk do a sharing as a career talk for a civil engineer in oil and gas industry with our young civil engineering students from UTHM atau University Tun Hussein On. So I'm sangat berbesar hati lah, and I'm glad to present today to you all. So hope my presentations ataupun my sharing today you all can take away and use sebagai at least your inspiration untuk become a good civil engineer in the future. So just get tapi sebelum tu I would like to thank juga kepada our focal from focal program CHES, Petronas CHES UTHM, Dr. Noor Karimah. I believe she joining us petang ni. So and I would say sorry juga untuk short notice because the notification to CHES team. So but we already established the communication between Petronas dan juga UTHM lah. So thank you Dr. Noor Karimah as well. So So today secara briefnya saya akan share basically my real experience based on my 17 working years in this oil and gas industry to you all. And by doing this, I hope I can share the knowledge, the experience to you all, so you can get something to kalau tidak pun sebagai benchmark, at least you use as a guidance and then supaya you can become a good civil engineer in the future. So my presentation outline for today adalah kita akan go through the objective that has been set lah by the organizer for today punya session. Kemudian touch a bit on who am I and apa yang saya buat. Kemudian kita touch stage by stage, apa itu pengenalan kepada oil and gas, basically on the value chain. Kemudian opportunities as a civil engineer in oil and gas industry. And then apakah role kita sebagai civil engineer in this oil and gas. And then topik ke-6 yang kita akan touch juga kepada offshore oil and gas development chain. So apa proses-proses yang melibatkan development chain di dalam consideration ataupun oil and gas industry lah. A bit detail sikit kepada, tapi tak adalah sangat detail, tapi at least we go a bit on the technical part yang saya akan sentuh, which is purely based on my experience on the geohazard and also the seabed features hazard identifications, and then specifically for the geophysical survey that we are conducting in order to perform the geohazard assessment, gathering informations. And then after that, we touch a bit on the offshore soil investigation. So mungkin adik-adik ataupun civil engineering student here agak aware on apakah soil investigation, tapi mungkin bukan di offshore, tapi mungkin di onshore punya industry, which is sebenarnya adalah common dan part of a requirement bila kita perform di design dan juga analisis untuk kita punya engineering punya part. And then saya touch a bit for the installation of the offshore platform. So macam mana the process, apa yang kita buat dalam kita untuk install ataupun construct this offshore platform, apa yang kita buat dekat offshore. So yang last topic adalah saya akan share juga the construction experience while doing the gas pipeline punya construction lah. And then before we conclude for the today session. So hopefully in general, I think I will take maybe 1 hour and 1.5 hour, maybe around that. Saya pun tak pasti, tapi we see. Tapi the timing yang been given to me adalah 2 jam ya, Nisa ataupun Eliana. 2 jam. Agak mencabarlah tu kalau nak 2 jam. Tapi kita tengoklah macam mana. But indicatively maybe around 1 to 1.5 hour lah kita akan have this session petang ni. So hopefully you guys can be patient, and kalau ada apa-apa soalan just raise. Mungkin Eliana ataupun Nisa can inform me kalau ada apa-apa persoalan daripada audience, which is I cannot see. I just focus to my slideshow saja. So saya tak nampak the chat ataupun daripada audience. Okay, for the objective for today punya sharing adalah like I mentioned, saya akan share my professional experiences and challenges that I was facing for the past 17 years working. So this is actually the main key element sharing that I bring ataupun I put in my pack today. And then I will enlighten the civil engineering ataupun civil engineer on various opportunities, roles and responsibilities of civil engineer, a bit focusing on the oil and gas industry. And then hopefully by doing this sharing, we can inspire our young civil engineer ataupun student that studying in this civil engineering. So my name is again TS Muhammad Syazwan Kamil bin Abdullah. So my position in Petronas adalah I'm a staff engineer. So basically I'm specialized in geotechnical engineering under role of civil and structure department of project delivery and technology Petronas. So married, father of 3 children, 1 boy and 2 girls. I was born in Marang, Terengganu. So anybody from Terengganu here? So maybe two. So I'm from Terengganu. Just a bit background, my education, bersekolah di Sekolah Kebangsaan Seberang Marang, and then I moved to Sekolah Menengah Merecang, kemudian Form 4 and Form 5 SPM in Teknik Terengganu, and then I was graduated from UTM Skudai in civil engineering. So total 17 years of working experience. Mainly I was involved in geohazard risk management and assessment, offshore geohazard site investigation, mainly on the soil investigation and also the offshore geophysical survey works. A few infrastructure works, khususnya in installation ataupun operation and maintenance for the gas pipeline, construction of the petrochemical plants, as well as the integrity and maintenance for the refinery and also petrochemical plant for Petronas assets. So basically my career journey adalah I was like I mentioned, I was graduated from UTM Skudai in June 2005. 2005. Kemudian in October I was being offered to join the company in Kemaman Terengganu, CCL Industries, as a civil, also the project engineer, to basically to focus on the maintenance, operation and maintenance part for the existing chemical plant, and also to directly involve in expansion of the N-butane plant. So it is a different processing plant, so which is I was directly involved about 3 years the construction and also the maintenance of that plant. Kemudian in July 2008 I was joined ataupun start to join the offshore industry with the company of so-called Offshore Works Sdn Bhd as a offshore geotechnical engineer. So I was spent in this company for about for about 4 years in offshore works. So with multiple of roles, at first is appointed as the offshore geotechnical engineer on board. So I was tasked to be engineer that performing soil testing on board in laboratory in offshore. Hello. Ada soalan ke tadi?
Tak ada Encik. Saya boleh teruskan.
Okay, sorry. And then as part of the geotechnical on board punya rules, I was required to perform the immediate analysis for the JCAP entry, as well as the preliminary report for the offshore pile installations. And then in June 2010, I was appointed to be a party chief ataupun project manager on board of the vessel ataupun kapal in offshore to lead the soil investigation, offshore soil investigation campaign, as well as the geophysical works. And then on the same times, I was appointed to be additional role as an AUV engineer, and I'm undergone the training, the comprehensive training to be an AUV engineer ataupun autonomous underwater vehicle engineer, which is to operate the AUV for the purpose of geophysical survey. And then in May 2012, I was joined Java Offshore, the company basically based in Jakarta, for about 2 years. So the roles that I was play here is more kepada project management, which is again focusing on the soil investigation as well as the geophysical survey campaign ataupun work. So in 2014 March, I was been offered to join Petronas as a senior geotechnical engineer on that time. So 6 years as a senior engineer, and then I was appointed as a staff engineer in 2020. So basically that was my brief background of my career journey. Okay. So we start to apa tu narrow down ataupun to look on the oil and gas punya value chain. So basically in oil and gas value chain ni divided by 3 lah. Kita ada upstream punya role dan juga midstream dan juga downstream. So apa itu upstream? So upstream basically the business category of the petroleum industry that involving exploration and also production. So dekat this apa tu area ataupun upstream punya parts, kebanyakan kerja-kerja adalah melibatkan industri apa tu orang panggil offshore ataupun kalau dekat Malaysia it mean kita focusing on the offshore sebab kita punya oil and gas adalah from the offshore. Kalau negara-negara lain macam Middle East, dia ada juga dia punya wells di area yang pada pasir, tapi di Malaysia currently kita punya crude oil field and natural gas field located in offshore. Kebanyakannya di Peninsula Malaysia dan juga di Sabah dan Sarawak punya water. So upstream sectors include searching for potential underground ataupun underwater crude oil dan juga natural gas field, which is consists of the drilling exploratory wells. So it can be using dekat Malaysia sebab we are dealing with the shallow, kita panggil shallow water depth. Especially dekat Peninsula, we are using the facility so-called jackup untuk melakukan kerja-kerja drilling exploratory wells. Macam this foto lah, ini kita panggil sebagai jackup untuk kita melakukan aktiviti drilling ataupun penggerudian minyak dan gas. Okay. So subsequently drilling and operating the wells that recover and bring the crude oil from or raw natural gas to the surface. So bila dia dah explore, dia drills, then they bring the crude tu, sama ada it is a crude oil ataupun raw natural gas to the facility so-called a platform. So daripada platform tu nanti dia akan transfer via kita panggil midstream punya facilities involving by pipeline. Hello.
Hello, ya Cik Syazwan.
Okay. I don't know, mungkin termute sendiri tadi. So via a pipeline system ataupun tanker, storage, and then been transferred to the onshore punya facilities ataupun kita panggil downstream punya facilities to refine the petroleum products. So pipelines and other transportation system ni we can be used to move this crude oil from production sites to refineries and deliver the various refined products to downstream distributors. So dia akan agihkan kita punya produk ni which is crude oil ataupun natural gas to the downstream punya plants, refineries ataupun petrochemical plants. Natural gas pipeline network also aggregate the gas from natural gas purification plants and deliver its downstream customers such as local utilities. So for domestic punya purposes, the transmission of these contohnya natural gas been doing via the pipeline. Di Malaysia kita ada domestic pipeline which is operated by kita punya Petronas gas Berhad, dan juga untuk local punya keperluan ataupun demand distributed by the Gas Malaysia. Okay. Dan untuk di downstream punya area, so the business process ni must commonly in the petroleum industry associated with the post-production activities. So bila been transferred by midstream punya area, the raw ataupun the crude oil, so the raw natural gas tadi, dia akan pass to the downstream to process. Okay, post-production activity. So the downstream sector is the a sector who refining of petroleum crude oil and the processing, the purifying of natural gas, as well as dia akan distribute for marketing ataupun product derived from crude oil ataupun natural gas tadi. So dia akan sell lah, dia akan jual this product yang post-process punya product yang derived daripada from two sources tadi. So the downstream sector ni reaches consumer through product such as petrol yang kita pakai, kerosene, jet fuel, diesels, lubricants and so on lah. The product daripada kita punya crude oil dan juga natural gas. Okay, ada soalan ke? Kalau tak ada, saya just continue. So basically just a quick brief our oil and gas facilities in Malaysia. Basically it is consists of, kalau adik tengok, consists of dekat Peninsula dan juga Sabah dan Sarawak punya waters, kita ada lebih kurang 300 platforms dan juga subsea facilities that scattered in our waters. Consists of lagi kita ada LNG plants dekat Semenanjung dan juga di Sabah dan Sarawak, and 2 floating LNG which is kalau biasa dengar dia punya nama adalah 1 dan 2, which is a big LNG floating vessel which is currently dah been operating in Sabah water. Petrochemical plants, it's about 21 plants that's located scattered in around the Malaysia. Refinery, a big refinery plant kita ada dekat Rapid yang baru di Pengerang, Johor, Kertih, the old Kertih terminal, and dan juga Melaka lah. So kita ada 3 main refinery plants. So total untuk kita punya gas pipeline for onshore adalah about 2,600 kilometer in total, merangkumi dari, kalau tengok dekat sini punya facilities map ni, daripada Kertih refinery dia akan turun ke Segamat, dan dia akan distribute to di Pengerang ataupun export ke Singapore, and then ke sebelah utara dia akan export ke Melaka refinery dan juga shoot kepada Perlis dan export kepada joint kita punya Trans-Thai punya line. And then for the offshore punya total pipeline kilometers is about 11,000 kilometers total, we're talking about total, which is a connection between platform to platform, platform to the onshore facilities ataupun refinery punya plants. So total about 11,000 kilometers in total. So the opportunities for you all as a current civil engineering punya student to become as a civil engineer basically is very big lah, very big. So ini a part of roles ataupun civil engineers punya specific position ataupun job yang ada, sebab civil engineering ni agak wide. So macam myself is focusing atau specializing in geotechnical engineering, and then you can become as a front end engineer who do the front end punya works for planning, and then civil engineer itself, which is can focusing on the construction of ataupun melibatkan construction dan design bangunan, facilities, infrastructure, and then structural engineer, especially for the offshore platform. This structural engineer who are doing the the design dan juga the construction works. Geotechnical engineer like myself, a floater engineer who involving in the floater engineering for the floater punya structure, pipeline engineer, juga one of the exciting punya roles as part of kita punya civil engineering punya area. You also can be a project engineer who manage ataupun who manage the certain projects, as a planner juga, which is as a background of civil engineer will be based on my observation and experience, they will be a good planner because they have a good background in engineering. Cost estimation juga we can be as part of the civil engineering punya wing. Construction engineer, of course, banyak kerja-kerja yang melibatkan oil and gas ini adalah background dia adalah civil engineering. Okay, become a construction engineer to build a platform, to build a floater system, to build a pipeline system, and many other facilities. QA/QC engineer to ensure the construction is doing in well manner as per approved drawings. And also bila dah construction tu siap, we need the maintenance engineer to maintain those facilities in good manner as well as the integrity of those facilities. So ini adalah contoh kecil the roles that you all can involve in future. And then Malaysia oil and gas players, ini juga against contoh-contoh saya bahagikan ikut dia punya sectors, dalam sectors exploration dan drilling. So banyak players yang involve our vendors atau contractors yang provide the expertise dan services to the Petronas itself, like Sapura Kencana, UMW, Tanjung. So untuk industri offshore supply vessel yang mana big company like Tanjung ataupun Bourbon, so these are the offshore supply vessel punya company. Production punya area juga the operators who are operating the kita punya area. For the shipping companies, MISC antara big company. For the refinery, Petronas, Shell as well, the ExxonMobil, the operators for the refinery. Untuk engineering dan juga the engineering, kebanyakannya banyak opportunity ataupun peluang untuk civil engineering punya graduate to be involved, especially in civil engineering, mechanical punya works, which is as an opportunity to you all guys to be joined. in future. So the roles of civil engineers. So apa basically kita punya roles sebagai civil engineer? This is just a overview ataupun a typical civil engineers role. So mungkin different job scope ataupun roles dia akan ada specific ataupun specialized punya roles. So this is for in typical ataupun general. So civil engineer who involved and responsible for the design as well as the construction of oil and gas facilities, sebagai contoh installation of offshore platform, refinery and petrochemical plant, hydraulic protection along the pipeline route, contohnya retaining walls. So semua juga macam involving in other infrastructure punya work which is not under the oil and gas. So oil and gas also we need the expertise ataupun the civil engineer who expert in building the retaining walls ataupun design the retaining walls, masonry structures, survey ataupun geomatics punya specialties, levels as well as the engineering change order. Aside from the designing projects, civil engineer juga perform a site visit ataupun verifications. So it is we offer the technical support to multiple teams and supervise the contractor delivery. Civil engineer also involved in asset management, asset integrity management, and carry out the routine maintenance plan for the plants ataupun petrochemical plants and others oil and gas punya facilities in order to ensure the optimum efficiency of those facilities. Okay, so before I jump to this topic, so tadi dia agak surface, so ini kita akan lebih detail lah. Lebih detail, which is on the oil and gas development chain. So any ada soalan daripada floor ke?
So far belum ada lagi.
Ada? Okay. So I just continue. So offshore oil and gas development chains. So by performing a geohazard site investigation campaign during the exploration dan juga development phase tadi, in upstream punya sector, we call it in green ataupun brown field. So apa tu green ataupun brown field? So green ni whereby the development area yang tidak ada apa-apa development lagi. So it is clear kalau dekat offshore tu tak ada any facilities within that boundary ataupun block. And kalau brown field pula, dia akan melibatkan the existing structure ataupun facilities that has been built ataupun developed in certain block ataupun area. So in term of challenging, green area is in term of risk, kita talking about risk. So green area will be less risk, but for the brown field it will be higher risk sebabkan kita dealing with other facilities, live facilities that operating very highly ataupun hazard punya facilities. Okay, so a part of the process in development of the upstream ataupun E&P punya facilities adalah to perform, we call it sebagai geophysical survey. Sama ada dia ada dua, via conventional geophysical survey ataupun via autonomous underwater vehicle, which is using the AUV. And the next process, bila kita dah gather all those geophysical survey data, kita akan conduct a bit detail punya assessment to certain the information on the subseabed punya conditions. We call it sebagai geotechnical soil investigation using the soil boring vessels. So this campaign is talking about the consists of taking a soil sample, typically for the jackup entry about 50 meters ataupun untuk construction of ataupun designing of the platform about 100 to 150 meters below the seabed ataupun di bawah seabed lah ataupun permukaan dasar laut 30 meter ataupun 100 hingga 150 meter, depend on the facility yang kita akan develop. Kemudian bila kita dah ada these two major information, engineering punya information, which is consist of geophysical mapping dan juga geotechnical soil investigation information, kita kan use untuk sebagai assurance untuk allow the entry of the hydrocarbon drilling via jackup rig ataupun submersible rig. So on this stage, dia akan doing the exploration drilling to certain the condition ataupun kandungan kita punya reservoir beneath the subseabed kita. So bila dah confirm there is a amount ataupun certain amount yang we are able to extract it from the seabed, kita akan construct the hydrocarbon production, so-called the platform, whether it is manned ataupun unmanned. Itu secara basically lah, secara overview. So it is kenapa kita perlu conduct ataupun having this phase by phase while kita doing the development for the exploration and development of in the greenfield ataupun brownfield adalah untuk minimize the risk of harm to personnel and equipment and to protect the natural environment. So mungkin you all pun aware dealing with oil and gas adalah very risky punya industry that everybody need very careful while doing every process ataupun activity. Okay, identify all possible constraint dan juga hazards, including man-made, natural hazard dan juga geological features which may affect the operational ataupun environmental integrity of the proposed drilling operation. And then to allow appropriate operational practice to be put in place in order to mitigate any of risk that has been identified. So we try to minimize the risk as low as reasonable practicable ataupun alap in order to ensure the safety of everybody. So kita tak nak bila kita doing some activities is may harm people and it's high risk to the people, so kita tak conduct. So we need to mitigate the hazard ataupun the risk that has been identified. Provide sufficient data to fully assess potential top hole drilling hazard at this location. So a part of the requirement untuk kita conduct this hydrocarbon drilling adalah untuk kita have certainties on the subseabed punya condition via geophysical survey dan juga geotechnical survey. Kerana based on these two most important information, kita akan dapat detect. Nanti kita akan detail sikit. Kita akan dapat detect the subseabed punya hazard that may harm ataupun risky to our lagi most dangerous punya activity, which is hydrocarbon drilling. So kita try to mitigate the risk as low as reasonable practicable.
Cik Syazwan.
Ya.
Saya nak bertanya. Tadi Cik Syazwan kata untuk kategori brownfield kan dia lagi higher risk dari greenfield. Apa contoh geohazard yang Cik masukkan tadi?
Okay, for the next slide ni menjawab soalan siapa tadi? Nisa ya? Okay, your question tadi, apa hazard yang kita dealing dekat offshore ni, whether it's it's area of brownfield ataupun greenfield. So basically kalau we talking about the brownfield adalah basically macam saya mention tadi, natural hazard also there, then juga dia ada additional of the presence of existing structure ataupun facilities, contohnya pipe platform. Kita ada presence of footprint ataupun creature from the previous jackup entry, Kita juga ada presence of the existing pipeline route yang kita kena certain dan tahu di mana position ataupun location dia berada. Kalau tak, nanti bila jack-up entry ataupun jack-up dia masuk, supaya kita dapat mitigate daripada the collision between jack-up foot dan juga the existing facilities ataupun pipeline. And then for the geohazard punya isu pula ataupun hazard, dia lebih kepada presence of shallow gas. So ini sangat ditakuti on the presence of the shallow gas, sebab kalau in case of we encounter the shallow gas during the exploration, it may harm to the people on board the jack-up as well as the facilities, the jack-up itself. Sebagai contoh, kalau kita dapat tengok filem apa tu, saya dah lupa filem yang
Deepwater Horizon ke?
yes, Deepwater Horizon, which is it's encounter a shallow gas during the exploration punya campaign. So that's kind of the risk ataupun consequence that we may facing kalau kita tak berhati-hati ataupun kita tak certain on the subseabed punya condition. Contohlah kan. And then corals, keberadaan ataupun corals that scattered in our seabed punya area, scour, buried channel. So buried channel ni kalau secara term mudahnya adalah in geological punya term, dia adalah satu area yang kita panggil sungai dalam laut. Tapi due to geological punya processes, dia dah been sedimented dan after buried by sedimentary punya process. So we call it sebagai buried channel. So buried channel ni it is a highly hazard to facilities, especially for the jack-up, sebab dia ada potentially untuk sliding, that instability of the channel itself. So we need to avoid this kind of geohazard ataupun hazard that we identify from the geophysical punya survey.
Oh, maksudnya kalau ada corals dekat kawasan tu, dia tak boleh bina pelantar minyak lah dekat situ.
Dia tak boleh. Kita akan relocate the earlier punya proposed location tu kepada location yang lebih selamat, so less risk to the facilities. Especially untuk kita punya jack-up. Dia ada beza antara jack-up dan juga platform. So mungkin nanti saya akan explain detail sikit. So macam saya explain tadi, a jack-up adalah a facilities yang kita use, dia adalah mobile punya facilities yang bila kita nak doing this exploration drilling, untuk kita tentukan di kita punya reservoir punya containment ataupun kandungan reservoir kita akan menggunakan this jack-up punya facilities. So dia mobile. So kat mana location yang kita tentukan, dia akan kita akan the vessels, offshore supply vessel akan tow this facilities to intended location. Dia akan deploy dia punya kaki. So kaki tu yang kita kena tahu where is the safe location untuk dia jack up dia punya hull nanti, and then penetrate to the ground. For ini adalah untuk temporary sajalah, untuk exploration. It may take 3 bulan, 6 bulan untuk dia complete dia punya exploration punya campaign. Kemudian dah siap, dah confirm ada enough kita punya reservoir punya volume, dan barulah kita start untuk design for the permanent structure, which is platform nanti. So a bit detail on what we are looking in geophysical survey. So a detailed geophysical survey ni of the seabed and subseabed will help again the risk assessment and also cost effectiveness of the design for the marine structures installation. So kita ada a few data ataupun acquisition yang kita perform using this while we doing this geophysical survey, which is using the single ataupun dan juga multi beam echo sounder, which is ada yang single dan ada yang multi beam, single beam dan multi beam echo sounder, dipanggil echo sounder, that capable to establish the seabed bathymetry and topography. So bila dia cerap ataupun dia acquire the data tu, kita boleh nanti dia punya resultnya kita akan boleh tengok the profile of kita punya subseabed, the seabed, permukaan bawah laut tu macam mana dia punya profile. Nanti kita akan nampak kalau area yang ada gunung, ada channel, so we can see from this. Kalau multi beam tu kita boleh generate a 3D view that easy for geophysical to do a interpretation for this location. Kemudian kita ada satu lagi alat while kita doing the geophysical survey, we call it sebagai side scan sonar, which is we establish the sea floor morphology and reflectivity dan juga to identify seabed feature. So untuk alat ni dia akan cerap permukaan dasar laut tu juga tadi, tapi dia punya view je dalam bentuk 2D. So whatever object yang dia detect daripada side scan sonar ni, kita akan boleh lihat dalam kita punya side scan sonar punya map nanti. And then another integration tools adalah we call it sebagai sub-bottom profiling investigation. Kita menggunakan subseabed geological profile, and then ada alat ataupun sub-bottom profiler yang high resolution seismic refraction, we call it. So seismic refraction instrument designed for investigating the subseabed geological profile, which is deeper. So untuk shallow penetration, subseabed ni maksudnya dia daripada dasar laut dia ke dalam subseabed ni dia ke dalam dasar laut tu. So dia punya, kita nak tengok the profile tanah tu macam mana. So we are using this sub-bottom profiler. Untuk deeper punya penetration, kita akan menggunakan high resolution seismic refraction punya tools, dan it can capture up to 1000 to 2000 meter punya depth below the seabed. And then for the shallow, shallow ni we talking about the subseabed tu dalam penetration about 30 to 50 meters daripada kita punya dasar laut. So ini adalah contoh data yang kita tengok daripada cerapan multi beam echo sounder tadi, which is dalam bentuk 3D. Okay. Dan ini adalah contoh data yang kita dapat daripada acquisition of the side scan sonar. So ini adalah data yang kita cerap daripada sub-bottom profiler. So ini adalah kita punya seabed. So di bawah ni adalah subseabed. So ini adalah indication of the layer of ataupun kita panggil stratigraphy of the soil beneath the seabed. So daripada data-data ni nanti geophysical kita akan interpret ataupun dia akan study those the features yang observe dalam data acquisition ni untuk identify di manakah ada shallow gas, di manakah ada shallow buried channel that our facility to be located in a safer punya place. I would like to touch a bit since dalam background tadi I mentioned that I was involved in this autonomous underwater vehicle punya works ataupun operating this AUV. So basically this so-called a new technology within 10 to 15 last 10 years, a new technology, masih lagi so-called a new technology that we are using to deploy the geophysical survey. So this technology is able to produce a high resolution data in shorter time, which is significantly reduce the cost of operational to acquire these geophysical data. So it can maneuver via self-propelled and unmanned underwater vehicle that is remotely controlled ataupun pre-programmed. So dia punya functions untuk carry those sensors ataupun tools tadi, which is side scan sonar, dia ada side scan sonar, dia ada echo multi beam echo sounder, single beam echo sounder, altimeters, dia juga ada sub bottom profiler that installed in this we call it AUV. So dia punya mode of operation can be supervised, so operator can maneuver this vehicle from the kita panggil mother vessel ataupun semi autonomous. Kita boleh set in our program to ask this vehicle to maneuver based on dia punya waypoint, dan fully autonomous, which is we rely totally by pre-setting the program ataupun waypoint bila kita deploy this AUV via autonomous punya mode. So mungkin benda ni at this time dia dah tak jadi macam terlalu itulah, sebab we can see all this technology ataupun capability of operating this autonomous system ni untuk kita punya UAV juga, which is aerial vehicle, unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV. So ini adalah AUV untuk offshore. Kita panggil submarine, mini submarine, which is unmanned punya submarine. Dia punya sizing adalah kalau macam untuk this specific specification ataupun jenis, we call it Hugin 1000 that I was experienced to operate this for 2 years. Sizing dia about dia punya diameter around 400 to 500 millimeters, the length about 2 meters. So dia punya total weight around I think about less than 1 ton lah, around 900 kilos, something like that. So just share to you a quick video of the operational of the AUV system. Boleh nampak ke? So sound dia mungkin at this moment tak ada, and on the middle saya baru ada some sound lah. Nisa, can you see this video?
Oh, video saya boleh nampak tapi sound dia tak ada.
Okay, it's okay. Memang video ni tak ada sound lah.
Okay.
Mungkin tak ada sound ataupun dia very slow. Okay, this is the AUV system. So this is where kita deploy this AUV to the sea, whereby we have kita panggil launch and recovery system, ataupun LAS kita panggil. Dia deploy from the back deck, whereby we tilt this LAS and launch the AUV, and then on board kita dah pre-program the waypoint, and she will can be maneuver macam saya mention tadi via supervised ataupun fully autonomous ataupun semi autonomous punya mode. So she will dive macam what unit that I was operated before is capable to dive until 1000 punya water depth, 1000 to 1500 meter water depth. Okay, so kalau compare to the conventional punya method, kita tak boleh nak use the mother vessel to maneuver those sensors, side scan sonar, SPP for the deep water punya area. They are limited to the shallow punya water depth. Tapi untuk AUV we can go for the deep water punya condition. Mungkin the latest technology they develop the capability up to 3000 to 5000 meter water depth. These are the unit juga that has been using untuk, kalau adik-adik pernah tengok incident of MH370. So this is the same unit that has been used by the team to search and rescue for the MH370, dan juga ada satu insiden Asia di Java C. It is a same unit that we have been used. So ini adalah dia punya apa tu dashboard that operator use to set and communicate with the vehicle ataupun AUV. So when the time is surface ataupun ready to recover, kita akan apa tu ask her to come close to our mother vessel to be attached with the LAH punya sistem ataupun launch and recovery punya sistem. So kita akan recover dan kita akan whether end of the mission ataupun apa tu acquisition ataupun kita kena recover untuk battery punya replacement.
Alat ni kan cik, waktu dia ada dekat dalam laut, dia ada kamera sekali ke untuk kita pantau dan lihat, ke dia collect data sahaja?
Yes, dia mempunyai apa tu sensors, various of sensors, which is we can adopt the camera as well. And kita ada satu sensor tu we call it sebagai forward looking sonar, which is dia punya capability to avoid any collision during dia punya itulah acquisitions. Okay.
Okey, sekejap ya cik. Sedikit selingan, kita mengalu-alukan kedatangan kita punya timbalan dekan hal ehwal pelajar dan alumni Fakulti Kejuruteraan Awam dan Alam Bina, iaitu Profesor Madya TS Dr. Azianita binti Serakon. So selamat datang Doktor. Okey, lepas tu untuk Cik Syazwan ada komen, dia tanya pernah ke ada kes alat tersebut dikacau binatang laut seperti ikan?
Yes, pernah dan biasalah kan. Sometimes tapi kita as a operator sometimes kebanyakannya kita tak tahu what type of ikan atau binatang yang touch. Tapi kebanyakannya yang kita bila dia dah about the mission ataupun come to the surface, dia akan attract the dolphin to come close by. So basically Hugin ni juga dia punya nama dalam bahasa Norway, which is translate sebagai dolphin. So Hugin is a dolphin in Norwegian punya language lah. So they name it Hugin for this vehicle. Mungkin sempena itulah that dolphin tadi. So memang it attract the animals. Sama juga macam kita operate the apa tu kita panggil drone ataupun UAV kan. Bila kita fly, it attract the eagles untuk attack those kita punya drones. So sama, dekat laut pun sama. Okay. So we move to the offshore site investigation.
Encik Syazwan, kita ada sambungan soalan tu. Bila kena kacau dengan binatang, adakah waktu collecting data tu terganggu ataupun terjejas?
Basically tak lah sebab dia punya apa tu, dia just kadang-kadang dia just would like to know what is this apa tu animals kan. So they just touch and then it's not affected much kita punya acquisition punya accuracy, sebab kalau it is offline daripada kita punya attended survey route, the capability of this AUV will be, dia akan offset balik ataupun dia akan realign balik back to the designated apa tu attended waypoint yang kita dah been set. So tak much lah sebab kita punya opening data acquisition tu dia punya beam swath, kita panggil beam swath ataupun cerapan, area of cerapan tu dia agak besar. So kebanyakannya untuk kita buat pipeline routing ataupun seabed seafloor punya mapping ni, kita akan buat dalam bentuk kita panggil lawn mower punya profile untuk kita have the overlapping data capture. So kita punya data tak akan affected lah sebab kita dah take account sometimes up to 100% punya overlapping. Kita akan ada the data, maksudnya ada backup 100% lah. So kalau dia offside daripada kita punya waypoint punya survey line, dia akan ada another survey, bila dia come back dia akan cover by that lah. Okay. So for the offshore soil investigation, so the geotechnical investigation program is designed to acquire reliable information on the stratigraphy, geological characteristics, dan juga properties of different soils and rocks on site. So a geotechnical data acquisition comprises a combination of techniques which is coring dan juga soil sampling methods via kita panggil seabed and drilling mode for the soil identification, descriptions, dan juga subsequently the offshore laboratory testing where geotechnical engineering parameters are determined. So dekat on board the vessel, kita ada mini lab that has been we carried out on board. So immediately bila kita recover the soil sample from this rig, kita akan extract kita punya soil samples. Kalau boleh lihat, minta maaf gambar kecil sikit, dia dalam bentuk macam lemang, kita panggil on board, kita panggil lemang lah, tapi it is satu samples yang cantik, yang undisturbed punya samples. So we can tested freshly, kita tested extrude from the subseabed punya area, and kita extrude dan kita test for the classification punya test, dan juga the paling advance pun kita akan buat di strength test, so called itulah UU punya test we do on board. And then for the further advanced punya testing, kita akan pack the sample via kita waxing untuk contain dia punya moisture content, and then we store in air conditional punya condition lah, and then kita akan bila dah sampai di port ataupun pelabuhan, kita akan ship to the attended laboratory. Okay, so the rest is the activity on board while kita conducting this geotechnical punya campaign adalah the drilling lah. So again, drilling ni melibatkan drilling untuk investigation, soil investigation. So in term of methodology, dia about same dengan drilling of exploration via jackup tadi. So cuma ini dalam bentuk yang agak dia punya scale agak kecil berbanding dengan exploration drilling untuk kita punya crude oil ataupun natural gas. So kita ada the system, the rig system comprises of the top derrick, kita ada drill string, kita ada seabed features, dan juga we equip with the another tools name in situ testing untuk acknowledge the soil stratigraphy and determine of the geotechnical engineering parameters, which is kita panggil sebagai CPT tools. So on top of we have the sampling, kita akan ada additional on in situ punya test, which is cone penetration test. So these are the contoh the borehole log yang kita produce from the soil investigation on board of the vessel. So dia more or less lebih kurang macam kita tengok soil investigation data ataupun borehole log yang kita produce for the onshore menggunakan contohnya SPT, standard penetration test dekat darat.
Cik Syazwan, ada soalan dari chat box. Untuk soal sampel yang Cik Syazwan kata lembang tadi tu, dalam soal tu dia ada moisture content dia yang tersendiri. Tapi soalan tanya, dia tercecah tak dengan air laut? Macam mana soal sampel tu diambil?
Macam saya mention tadi, it is undisturbed sample. So secara tu dia tak terjejas daripada air laut sebab dia tak kena pun air laut, sebab kita panggil drill string ataupun casing yang protect bila kita buat exploration ataupun kita buat soil investigation tu. So kita ada casing yang protect the samples ataupun the soils tu daripada being disturbed daripada air laut. Tapi ada juga certain cases yang especially on the kita panggil mud line ataupun soft clay, soft ataupun very loose sandy type of material that highly potentially to be disturbed by this water lah. Ada case, tapi on the top layer saja, mungkin up to 1 to 2 meter from the seabed. Itu memang biasa kita akan dapat disturb punya sample. We call it disturb. So kita tak boleh, kita just boleh perform the soil classification test, tapi untuk macam shear strength punya test, it's not reliable untuk kita conduct on those disturb punya sample. So we do at undisturbed punya sample. So this is the offshore geotechnical drilling spread, the geotechnical drilling punya vessel. So macam saya mention tadi, kita ada derrick, power swivel yang use untuk power up kita punya drill string untuk drill using kita punya drill bits, drill pipes. Prior to the drilling punya activity, we need to secure the position of our vessel via sama ada 4-point mooring anchor, kita pakai anchor, ataupun the latest technology we are going to using the dynamic positioning punya system. Kita tak perlu anchor, which is we using the DP punya thruster to maintain the position of the vessel. So another video for you, the geotechnical drilling vessel. Macam mana it looks like. So this is the vessel from contractor so-called Fugro. So Fugro is a big player for the geotechnical dan juga geophysical service provider in this world lah. So-called Fugro is the world punya player. So their vessel dan juga facilities also antara the best in the world lah. Even though Malaysia also have the players that have almost capability to the Fugro, like Sapura Kencana also have the geotechnical flag, Java Offshore Works, Asian Geos, those the companies yang ada the capability untuk conduct this soil investigation, offshore soil investigation. Ini adalah keadaan on board the vessel. So basically vessel ni pada saya is antara vessel yang tercanggih lah dekat region ni. So dia agak macam very simple design, tapi it's very sophisticated punya systems yang dah very less human punya contribution, but it's very effective and very precise in conducting this investigation. So dia punya capability, kalau you all tengok, dia punya capability is up to 3,000 meter water depth. Dia boleh korek di kedalaman air yang 3,000 meter, dan dia akan korek below the seabed to around 100 to 200 meters from the seabed. So total about 3,000 plus lah kan. Okay. Okay, another video is what are the apa tu? Sorry. Yeah. What are we doing while kita conduct the apa tu drilling punya activities lah. This is a typical punya process ataupun activity that we are doing while kita drilling punya activities. So this is the operator ataupun assistant driller. We call it sebagai roughneck who doing the drilling punya activities. Ini adalah drill string ataupun drill casing yang saya maksudkan tadi. So we protected our sensor from seawater ataupun this is a part of the untuk kita achieve kita punya penetration depth ataupun drilling punya depth using this drill string. So ini adalah proses di mana kita nak membuat sambungan ataupun connection untuk increase the penetration of depth.
Encik Syazwan. Tak minta Cik Syazwan silakan boleh sebab tak dengar sampai Cik Syazwan explain dah.
Sorry.
Okay.
So dia orang kita menggunakan apa tu torque untuk secure this kita punya drill string untuk while doing the connection lah kan. Okay. Dia clamp the pipe and then kita rotate guna swivel untuk kita lock this pipe. Then kita lower down the pipe to the seabed. So and then bila kita lower down this drill string ataupun pipe drill string to the seabed, then kita akan turunkan a sampling tools ataupun in situ testing tools, we call it a CPT tadi, untuk kita doing apa tu in situ testing lah dalam dia punya drill string. Okay. So as back to the process tadi untuk development. So post of the soil investigation dan juga geophysical punya works, the jackup will be entry to the attended punya location, which is kita panggil term dia rig move operation lah, untuk they conducted the exploration drilling. Tadi adalah geotechnical drilling, so this one is for the exploration drilling. So this jackup will be towed by the AHT vessel ataupun apa tu the vessel that tow this jackup punya facilities to the attended punya area. So in this video ni kita dalam condition ni adalah we call it sebagai brownfield lah, sebab dia dah ada apa tu existing structures ataupun platform on site. So this jackup dia akan close to the wellhead punya platform. So dia punya slot tu dah readily ada dekat slot dekat platform untuk dia penetrate to the ground. So these are the process of pin down ataupun lowering down the jackup. So this is where the geotechnical investigation data tu diperlukan untuk kita tentukan di mana the competent level ataupun seabed punya condition yang allow to support kita punya jack up punya loading. So dia akan seat, this jack up akan penetrate to the competent ground, and then bila dah kita confirm it's really stabilized, dia akan jack the hull up to the platform punya level prior to doing the exploration drilling. So dia jack dia punya hull, kita panggil hull dia punya body ni to the attended punya platform punya level, dan dia extract dia, ataupun protrude dia punya drilling punya rig, and then they lower down the drill string for the exploration of hydrocarbon. Okay, so the last process adalah the offshore platform fabrication dan juga installation. So secara prosesnya, this platform consists of two module lah, saya panggil modul. Satu kita panggil sebagai top side, ataupun kita panggil sebagai ialah top side lah kan. Bila kita nampak dekat offshore tu, kita panggil platform ni, dan dia punya kaki je di section kita panggil jacket leg. So dua section ni we fabricate separately, and then kita akan bring to offshore using this barge, very huge barge. We sail out to the offshore to the attended location, whereby we are going to install different barge. We carry this kita punya jacket leg, and then we launch and install the jacket leg first at attended. Kemudian kita installation of the pile through this jacket leg punya slot. Then bila dah we have set ataupun install the piles as per design, kita akan install the top side punya sections. Okay, so these are the typical process of the offshore platform installation. So another video for you. So the offshore installations.
Here you will see jacket installation, deck and accessories installation.
So dekat dia akan we doing the sea fastening untuk secure those kita punya jacket ataupun platform ataupun top side punya section tadi on each barge, and then kita skidding. Bila dah sampai ke site, kita akan skidding deploy kita punya jacket structure to the water. So dia potong kita punya sea fastening tadi, and it's launched. And then we bring kita punya personnel on board. So untuk a typical punya installation platform punya works, certain time it may consist of 300 to 500 people at specific location. 300 ke 500 orang dalam satu masa we do for this installation punya work. So this is the upending punya process, whereby daripada keadaan yang horizontal tadi, kita release dia punya buoyancy punya tank, and then kita tegakkan dia, and kita turunkan dia ke dasar laut, and then kita install the pile through the jacket punya leg. So the piles of for this platform about similar lah, kita using the hammer to push the piles to the attended punya penetration. Hydraulic piles, hammer. Dan bila dah completed the installation of the piles tadi through the jacket leg, then they will send this top side punya section to be load up ataupun install into our jacket leg. So that's how the connection between jacket leg dan juga top side punya section. So the bridge, kalau ada complex punya installation ataupun flare punya area, dia akan install a bridge unit as part of the platform punya complex system. So ni adalah the barge yang carry the crane for the lifting of the installation for the jacket leg dan juga top side installations.
Oh, biasa berapa lama untuk offshore platform installation ni siap? Tempoh dia.
Typically untuk jacket installation, it may take 3 weeks to 1.5 month. Kalau sebab dia punya isu adalah bila kita kerja offshore ni, of course the unpredictable punya weather conditions. So of course dalam planning punya period, kita our engineer dah pick the most suitable time untuk kita install this platform and consideration to the weather. So on the calm punya weather kita install, we can achieve one month lah in typical punya tu. And then another punya uncertainties adalah the pile installation. So sometimes we got stuck while kita doing the pile installation, sebab by the design of this pile punya installation, kita dah ada intended ataupun target depth. So sebab kalau kita tengok the strata of the soil, sometimes strata is not consistently uniform. Dekat Semenanjung is boleh kita kata it's quite uniform, clay all the way from top to bottom. Tapi di Sabah dan Sarawak, dia punya stratigraphy agak berbeza. Dia ada interbedded by sandy layer in between, crust layer, which is dia akan sangkut bila kita pile, so nanti dia ada potential untuk stuck, and we need to drive until it penetrate those crust layer and reach the target penetration. So about 1 month untuk installation of jacket. Kemudian untuk top side agak straightforward. So maybe it takes around 2 weeks untuk installation of the top side. Okay, saya rasa untuk offshore saya habis kat situ. So I just like to share juga for the onshore punya infrastructure facilities for the gas pipeline on the midstream tadi. So what we do for the construction of the gas pipeline adalah the prosesnya adalah by conducting a survey untuk identify ataupun certain on dia punya pipeline punya routes, and then kita akan conduct the clearing dan juga grading for the kita panggil right of way ataupun ROW. So ROW ni kalau adik-adik pernah tengok, dia kadang-kadang tu 40 meter kita punya right of way, 30 meter, then between kita punya boundary ataupun right of way tadi, kita akan install kita punya pipeline. So we will do the trenching dan juga stringing. So kita korek the trench untuk deploy ataupun install the pipeline. Typically kita akan tanam dia. Kalau typical punya transmission punya line about 1 meter punya diameter, so kita akan korek lebih kurang 3 ke 4 meter supaya we have a sufficient depth of cover. Kemudian bending dan juga welding punya activities untuk kita join all those section. Sebatang pipe typically is about 12 meter in length. So kita akan join 12 meter section by section at site. Kemudian we do a coating dan juga inspections prior to the commissioning, ataupun lowering down those pipelines to the trench, and then kita bila dah QQC okay, tak ada issue on the weldment ataupun coating, kita akan lowering down kita punya pipeline section to the trench tadi, and then we do a testing. Typically we call it sebagai hydro testing untuk ensure there is no leak in between the installed sections, and then kita akan tie up with other section ataupun with a new section, and then we close the backfill the trenching and vegetate those right of way and ready to the commission. So this is the video to pipeline constructions experience from the Santos GLNG Australia. This is the Gladstone project. It consists of 400 kilometers of pipelines. So a corridor ataupun yang saya maksudkan tadi, right of way, been clear dulu, and then they install the drainage system. But area ni kalau kita tengok secara fizikalnya dia adalah melibatkan swampy punya area, so ada high ground water table, so we need to manage in term of sub dan juga surface water. And then we do a trenching, and then we lower down the welded sections of the pipeline and bury it. So dia reinstate ataupun rehabilitate via vegetations. So total kilometers for this project is 420 kilometers lah. So there is a typical construction of the pipelines. So normally for 400 kilometers of the pipeline in mountainous region ataupun area yang berbukit, bergunung ganang, it may takes longer times lah. Macam one of our project it takes sampai 5 to 6 years to complete the installation of the pipelines. Okay, I think this that's the last video yang I have for you. So for the remaining of my slide is just I would like to share my previous experience ataupun that I was be a part ataupun involved. So in 2006 to 2008 I was involving in construction ataupun maintenance of this butane plant in TCL Industries. So this is my moment in petrochemical plant ataupun downstream punya side. During my offshore geotechnical campaign, basically within 2008-2012, this is my friend on board, my colleagues, my brothers, and even I have spent ataupun having raya for a few years, raya Aidilfitri quite years dekat offshore, tak boleh balik. Then bila saya spend kat offshore tu, working for offshore tu dalam 4-5 tahun, memang kebanyakannya saya tak beraya di darat lah, banyak di laut. So this is my room on board, and sometimes we are having a time untuk fishing. So a big fish, So there is untuk mengisi masa lapang di offshore lah. Okay. So this is my memory.
Cik
Well,
Syazwan,
yeah.
slide boleh jadikan full screen.
Oh, belum full screen ya. Kat sini dah full screen. Saya ensure. Saya kehilangan dia punya button dia untuk share the ya. Is it full screen?
Dekat saya punya laptop, Encik tak share apa-apa.
Tadi. Sorry. Is it okay?
Okey dah, boleh nampak.
Okay. So this is my memory back in 2010 to 2012, were involving in the geophysical survey, basically in AUV punya campaigns. So I spent a few months in Hortens, Norway, to undergo the training for the operating this AUV. And then I spent a few years juga, 2 tahun di Jakarta to perform a few campaign, geophysical, consists of a geophysical and geotechnical campaign in Java Sea. Memory while doing the fabrication works for one of the biggest platform in Petronas, SK316, in 2014. This time is while they are carrying the fabrication, lifting one of the bracing system for the jacket leg. So this is the photos during the installation of the platform jacket. Basically, I attended for the jacket installation for one of the platforms, so-called TTJTA, located in Miri. So whereby I was able to join from the beginning of the installation, appending installation of the piles I need to monitors, and then up to the commission of this jacket leg punya installation, which is acceptance of the final position for this jacket leg. Sometimes also in China to learn ataupun to having a benchmark exercise with CNPC, China National Petroleum Company, for their experience in installation of the ataupun construction of the pipeline, which is their pipeline is 5,000 kilometers of the pipeline from Shanghai to the Russia. So I was get the opportunities to learn something from this CNPC. So so basically this like CNPC, they have a great tools, very sophisticated system and tools while doing this kind of construction punya works. Very impressive, the technology from the China. And then I was to spend most of the time from 2014 to 2022 to look on the special project for the Sabah Sarawak gas pipeline for the construction of the reinstatement of the pipeline, the investigation work for the incident, the surveillance works, whether via walk down ataupun tracking, dan juga via area surveillance menggunakan helikopter. So this is part of my role and job that I'm doing currently. I'm doing for Petronas. So as a conclusion, as a civil engineer who is the person who practices the civil engineering, the application of the planning, designing, constructing, maintaining, and operating infrastructure while protecting the public and environmental health, as well as improving the existing infrastructure that may have been neglected. Therefore, as an engineer, we need to ensure these all those requirements is being fulfilled and complied. So oil and gas companies also require civil engineers because they require infrastructure such as oil fields, pipeline, foundations, shelters for various equipment storage facilities, and so on. Like I flashed one of my slide, the facilities even in Malaysia also only. For the offshore platform, you have 300 facilities ataupun platform and subsea punya facilities that we need to maintain, and in future we have more to be installed and developed. So there is a lot of opportunities, inshallah, for you all as a young engineer become to join this industry lah. So I think with that I end my presentation. So thank you.
Terima kasih saya ucapkan kepada TS Muhammad Syazwan Kamil bin Abdullah di atas perkongsian itu sebentar tadi. Semoga ianya sedikit sebanyak dapat membantu para peserta mempersiap diri sebelum melangkah ke alam pekerjaan dan membuka mata para peserta tentang realiti sebenar dalam berkerjaya. Baik, kita teruskan program ini dengan sesi soal jawab. Jadi bagi mereka yang mempunyai sebarang persoalan yang anda ingin ajukan, anda boleh unmute mikrofon anda dan terus bertanya. Ataupun anda boleh bertanyakan soalan pada ruangan chat box dan saya akan bacakan soalan tersebut. Jadi dekat sini kita ada soalan yang pertama. How do you see the future of oil and gas as we believe these sources will soon diminish? Macam mana Encik Syazwan nak menjawab soalan ni? Dipersilakan.
Okay, thank you for the first question. So basically, a very good question. So that was the always in even on our level pun there is the popular questions that be asked even to management and so on. But that's where as part of Petronas future plan and current they are developing ataupun looking the enhance for the new energy punya area. So of course this is as our traditional punya business, but now we are moving to a new sector, so-called new energy, whereby dekat situ mungkin adanya macam solar punya power plants, wind farm installations. So there is a lot more alternative new energy that coming to our plate now to study, to explore, and then give back something to the national, to Malaysia. So
Okay.
back to you, Anissa.
Ada next question dari saudara Hassan. Dia bertanya, is there any set of skill yang kami as student boleh belajar supaya dapat kami jadikan sebagai nilai tambah dan dari mana kami boleh mulakan? Untuk soalan ni, saya juga nak nyatakan apakah technical skill dan software yang perlu kita mahirkan sebelum kita apply untuk masuk dalam industri oil and gas?
There is thank you for the question. So there is no specific skills. Sebab yalah, like I mentioned, kita punya field ni civil engineering field sangat wide. So we can be so-called civil engineer can be anything. Sometimes ada yang graduate as civil engineer, they're doing the mechanical works, they are doing the processing works, they can do robotic punya works like AUV ataupun ROV. So ada setengahnya from the civil engineering punya background. So tak ada rules ataupun nak say the guidance untuk kita pakar ataupun kita the knowledge in term of software ataupun spesifik punya tu lah. Tapi whatever the module that we have learned in university, we need to understand because the fundamentals tu is very important. Even at working level, ramai juga engineers yang on the fundamentals punya ataupun basic punya things that patutnya kita dah master masa kita graduate ataupun masa kita study. Kita tak dapat that skills, the basic fundamentals thing. But for me, the basic is the most important